Hello, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Zagreb. For the first time in 10 years, Glory Kickboxing returns to Croatia. We've already had a fantastic week here. Fighters are ready, of course. The weigh-ins are coming up in just a few minutes. We'll make everything official for what should be a great night tomorrow night at Arena Zagreb. We should tell everyone that's in the area, if you can get here tomorrow night, there are still some tickets available. We would love to have you join us. For the rest of you watching around the world, we'll have some viewing information for you coming up here in just a few minutes. Two big things happening tomorrow night. First of all, a 5-round title elimination bout in the heavyweight division. We'll learn more about that in just a moment on the press conference. And of course, Madan returns to the Glory ring for a retirement fight tomorrow night here in his homeland. It's going to be a special night, and whether you're watching from home or whether you can be here with us live, we would encourage you to be a part of Glory 95 coming up tomorrow night. Let's get right to the press conference. I want to turn the microphone over to Marco Petrak, who will be emceeing this part of the program today. Marco?
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for coming to this press conference right before ceremonial weigh-ins and tomorrow's Glory 95 in Zagreb Arena. A world kickboxing promotion, leading kickboxing promotion, is actually returning to Zagreb after more than 10 years and Glory 14, yeah. So it's been a while, and we are very, very happy to have you guys here, and we are very honored to have you here. First of all, I will introduce all the speakers. For CEO, Glory CEO, Mr. Marshall Zelaznik, welcome to Zagreb, sir. Then our main event fighters, number one contender in the heavyweight division, Levy Richters. His opponent, number two contender in the same division, Baharam Rajebzadeh. And then the winner of this fight will face the champion Rico Verhoeven, like said before, at the Glory's Collision 7 event in December. And last but not least, Croatian fighting legend who will have his farewell fight at the arena tomorrow in front of his own crowd, Scorpion Sting, Madan. So please give us a round of applause for these guys here. Okay, so I will start with a few introduction questions. First set, of course, for Glory CEO, Mr. Zelaznik. Thank you, sir, again for coming for actually returning to Zagreb after 10 years. Let's start with that return. Glad to have you here, of course. What are your thoughts on the Croatian market and actually the whole Balkan market here?
Yeah, I think, I've been around the fight business for a long time, managing a lot of international business. The fighting culture in this part of the world is real. The fans have a real appreciation for the athleticism. I remember one of the first events I promoted was with Mirko Krokop back at UFC 70, I think it was, in Manchester, England. And he was such a legend, but what became clear at that event was how well the Croatian fans traveled to follow Mirko. And so when I came back to Glory and having seen Plazi's growth in the company, it was clear that we needed to come back to Croatia as Glory with him. Unfortunately, with his injury, the fans haven't really let us down. They've stayed in the event. They're committed to the event. And I think for us as a company, you can expect to see us coming back here more often. I've met with some of the local promoters here that are doing some really interesting things in MMA. And we're really looking to work with everyone in the community, whether it's the fighters, whether it's the brands and the other promotions. So we're a big believer in the market.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you said you will return here. It's a great news for us. Second one is really personal one for you. You recently rejoined Glory yourself. Please talk us through the decision to come back to the company.
Yeah, one of the reasons I joined Glory back in 2018 was having grown the UFC around the world. The one thing that was very clear was that the ground fighting, the part of MMA, it wasn't very, at least in Europe and in other parts of the world, culturally it wasn't that relevant. And oftentimes we would have fights and you would hear the crowd start to chant, stand them up, stand them up. And when I had a chance to come back, I hadn't forgotten that. And My son, who's become a massive MMA fan, has kept me involved with MMA, and he's obviously a Glory fan. But I still believe there's a massive opportunity for this sport of kickboxing and stand-up combat. And I felt like, for me, I had unfinished business. I left right before COVID. I went back into esports for a while when Pierre called me. Maybe a little bit like a fighter, I can't stay away from the fight game. I wanted to come back, and I wanted, my objective in coming back isn't to create a successful business, but having seen what fight sports does for fighters and for fans, it's very motivating to build a product that the fans engage with, but it creates an outlet for athletes to provide for their family and do these things. And when you see the impact that it has across the spectrum and you start to really grow an entire ecosystem, that's really what drives me. I'm not here to just put on great events. We're here to really create a movement that will take over the world and be as impactful as any other sport in the world. That's what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. The next one is obviously about the main event of the evening. You said it before, Plazibat was supposed to fight Levy, and then you had this big change because of the injury. Can you talk us through this change, what it meant for the fight card and, of course, for the whole heavyweight division?
Yeah, it's funny because in our business, we're always trying, things have to align. You need the right timing, you need the right fighters, you need the right location. And with Plazi coming back and hearing all the positive things, all the timing seemed to align. Unfortunately, in this business, it also happens that expect the unexpected, and we were really disappointed to hear about Plazi's injury. But when I just got to know Plazi since I've been back, and it's only been a little bit, he was so encouraging about keeping the event on, believing in the Croatian fans, believing in the sport, that we couldn't do anything but support that initiative. And honestly, he gave me personal strength to make the decision to stay, because we're in the business of trying to create an environment where we can sustain the business, which is code speak for, hey, can we make money? Can we make sure that we can do what we need to do? And Plazi was right. The fans are here. The reaction has been great. The media has been great. The ticket sales didn't really drop off when Plazi went out. And I think that's a testament to Plazi's support of the event and in our brand, and we're hoping to continue to drive it.
Mr. Zelazny, you have a very important main event tomorrow because the winner will face the champ, Rico, on Collision 7 at December. So what do you think about this fight? What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously the implications are real, but the one thing I want to do is thank the fighters. Bahram moved off of one fight to take a challenge. That's not a one-way street. Levy had to agree as well. And whether it's Cookie or with Big Sexy, fighters' willingness to take fights on short notice cannot be overstated, the courage that takes. And so to see our fighters step up and be willing to do that, and then be willing to do it on 5 rounds, and then to put all the pressure of a title eliminator, these are real stakes. And for the fighters to do what they did, we're very appreciative, and we want to thank them. And I know the fans have reacted to it, but don't underestimate what these fighters have to go through to be ready. And for them to step in to do it, we're very appreciative, and we're honored that we can put the fight on.
Thank you, Mr. Zelaznik. Now I'm moving on to Levy Ritters. Levy, welcome to Croatia. Can I ask you firstly, how do you like it so far, and what does it mean for you to compete in another market, in another capital? I don't think that you ever competed here.
No, it's the first time. It's been nice. We've been into the city, had some good food, met some nice people, and it's nice to fight on the card with the legend Madan. So yeah, it's really nice. Your regional opponent, of course, Antonio, was injured. How did it affect you and your preparations? What are your thoughts on this situation? Are you sad or happy? Well, it happens in the sports, especially with me. It happened a lot this year. So it's just keep on going, and nothing really changes. So and I think we found the perfect match. And me and Bahram had the fight before, which I've always been honest about was not the right fight to prove who's the better fighter. So now we have the fight to do that.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about this fight because you guys have somewhat history together. So, what do you think about your first fight and your performance? And actually, do you think that you actually won that fight or not?
Yes, I did win the fight, but like I said, I'm always honest about the fight. The 8 counts were difficult to judge. So what I said, it's not the right fight to prove who's the better fighter. So now we will.
Bekle. Dur ya, bir dur ya. O senin kendi tercihin. Kazanmışsın diye. İlk maçta kazanmamışsın. O sadece sen öyle düşünebilirsin.
Wait. That's your opinion that you won the first fight. That wasn't an eight count, so you didn't win that fight.
Well, I did because I went on to the final. But like I said, the 8 count was difficult to judge. So now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here, and tomorrow you guys will actually decide who will fight Rico Verhoeven. That's my final questions for you, Levy. What do you think about that matchup if you, of course, win tomorrow? How will you prepare for Rico? What are your chances in the match without a tournament?
Well, first of all, the focus is now on Saturday, of course. But me and Rico also have a history, and that's the same. It was in a tournament. Now it will be a fresh fight for the title, so that will be totally different.
Levy, thank you so much, and welcome to Croatia again.
Thank you.
And now for the Golden Wolf, who already has spoken. How do you like the country till now? Are you happy to be here? What is it like for you?
İlk başta unuttum. Vesselamu aleyküm. Hırvatistan çok güzel bir ülke. Sıcakkanlı. Çok sevdim burayı. İlk defa da burada oldum. Çok mutluyum. Herkes sıcakkanlı, güzel. Keyif alıyoruz.
First of all, selamun alaikum to everybody. I've liked Croatia very much until now. It's a great place. Everybody's been really warm to us, and we're enjoying our time here. We're having a great time.
Glad to hear that. The Golden Wolf, Bahram, can you please tell us something about taking this fight on a very short notice? You took it on a really, really short notice. Was it a difficult decision for you or not?
Bu kavgayı kabul etmek senin için diyor. Çok kısa bir dönemde kabul ettin. Bu kavgayı kabul etmek senin için çok zor bir seçim miydi yoksa kolay bir seçim miydi?
Gayet normal.
Pretty normal. It was a pretty normal decision to take on this fight.
So you weren't thinking about it, you just said, yes, I will do it.
Hiç diyor düşünmedim mi diyor. Direkt diyor evet mi?
Hiç düşünmedim.
I haven't thought about it. I said yes.
Oh, okay. We already spoke about your first fight with Levy. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think that you won that fight, and how do you feel about it now after a few months?
Diyor ilk dövüşün hakkında konuşalım diyor. İlk dövüşte diyor işte ne düşünüyorsun diyor ve o dövüşü diyor kazandığını söylüyorsun diyor. Onun hakkındaki düşüncelerini söyler misin?
İlk dövüşümde ilk roundda knockdown değildim. Benim omuzuma değmişti. Bütün röportajlarımda söyledim. Benim omuzuma değdi. Hakemin kör noktasında olduğumuz için hakem görmedi. Hakemi de kınayamayız. Sıkıntı yok. İlk roundla 3. roundu ben kazandım. 2. roundu Levy kazandı. Yani ben birçok kişiyle de bunu paylaştım. Herkes de aynı fikirdeydi. Yani o maçı ben kazanmıştım.
I believe I said this many times in my interviews as well. The first round, it was a knee on my shoulder, and I got out of balance and I fell down. It wasn't for my beliefs, it wasn't a knockdown, but I'm not going to judge any of the judges who were taking the score. It might have been on their dark side that they couldn't have, on their dark corner that they couldn't have seen it. The first round and the third round, I believe by points were, if we don't count the knockdown, was for me. Second round was for Levy. So actually, I still think that, and I spoke to my people around me, I still think that I would have won the fight.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts. How do you envision your victory tomorrow? What will change if you compare it to the first fight? How will you fight?
İlk dövüşe karşı yarınki dövüşte yani neler yapmayı bekliyorsun?
Tam değişik bir şey. Tam farklı bir şey. Çünkü her maçtan sonra kendi maçlarımı izliyorum. Rakibin maçlarını izlemektense kendi maçlarımı izlemekten daha çok keyif alıyorum. Bir de daha çok açıklarımı buluyorum. Onları kapatmaya çalışıyorum. Ve çok güzel bir maç olacağını düşünüyorum.
Very different. They're going to see a very different Bahram because after every fight, I watch and analyze myself, my own fights. I don't watch my opponents. I watch my own fights and I watch them again. And I've seen my openings, I've seen my mistakes. So I'm just going to close them, and it's going to be a great fight tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the winner of your fight will, of course, face Rico Verhoeven for the title in December. What do you think needs to be done to dethrone the king? He is really a king of glory.
Bu maçı kazanırsam diyor, tabii 7 Aralık'ta diyor Rico'ya, krala karşı diyor dövüşeceksin diyor. Kralı diyor tahtından düşürmek için diyor ne yapman gerekir diyor, ne yapacaksın?
Önce kral değil, önce prensi atından indireceğim. Sonra kralı tahtından.
He says the first priority is to put the prince off, get the prince off his horse, and then we'll think about dethroning the crown.
Okay, thank you for that one. Now we move on to Madan, the Scorpion Sting. Brestovac, his hometown crowd will support him tomorrow. Madan, how do you feel on your final fight week of your career and your life?
I feel great. I mean, I'm honored by Glory, and I want to thank Glory for this fight because 10 years ago I made my debut in Glory Zagreb, and now I'm making my farewell fight in Glory Zagreb. So that's a dream come true for both situations. I am ready and willing to fight and make the fans happy, and can't wait for it.
You also, Mladen, had a late replacement. Instead of Vladimir Toktasinov, you have now Karim Diam. What do you know about your opponent, and what do you think about the change?
I mean, it's stuff like that happen in the sport. What can you do? I think my opponent is very similar to my first opponent, so I don't know much about him, but I think I will be ready for him.
And of course, the big question, if you look at your career, you know, what do you think was the best moment, you know, your biggest thing that you did?
Well, of course, fighting for the title 2 times is a great success, but I never liked being known as a fighter that lost against somebody for 2 times. That's like not so good, but maybe my knockout against Hezdi Gerges, I like that knockout very much.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it was perfect. And last question for you, Mladen. You have tomorrow these 2 big guys, heavyweights, fighting for actually a title eliminator fight. So what do you think about the fight and who will win?
It's a very hard fight for both of these fighters. It's very, very hard to predict. I think 50-50. In such situations, I think maybe even who's more luckier, he's gonna get the W. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I think that's it for today in this press conference. Guys, thank you everybody for joining us, for being here. And again, welcome Glory to Zagreb again. Thank you.